Hi, I'm Miss Lee, and thank you so much for joining me for our animal STEAM series. So today we're going to do one of our two frog activities. So they can go in either order. So we have the fly catcher and this video, which is our hopping frog. So also included in your kit is the F for frog craft activity. So you can turn your capital letter F into a frog. The only thing I needed to add was the tongue. So you can draw your own nice long tongue. And if you want to learn a little bit more about what frogs eat, as well as learning a little bit more about the frog life cycle, you can tune into the frog fly catcher activity. So I go over these a little bit more there. So what our activity today is a hopping frog activity. So what you will need from your kit will be 2 disposable cups. So you actually have 2 clear cups, and I found through trial and error those don't show up in a video so well. So I will go ahead and show you with these just because they're a little bit easier to see. You will need this frog from your kit. You can color it in. And then you will also need 2 rubber bands. So I did provide more rubber bands than 2 in your kit, just in case one breaks. But for the activity, we really just need 2. So what we're going to be looking at is how frogs move. So I'm going to share a video. Let me bring this up of a hopping frog, or really a jumping frog. So frogs have very strong, powerful back legs, big muscles, and they're also really long back legs. So here's an example of a frog doing a nice slow motion jump. So you'll be able to see just how powerful they are when they jump. So look at those big long legs unwinding, pushing off. They are super strong and powerful. And you can also see those webbed feet on the front and back. That helps the frog with swimming. Here's another leaping frog. Oh, sorry, one more frog and then I'll exit out. Oh, that one wasn't so well executed. All right, so you can see most frogs are excellent jumpers. There are some species that are not as long-legged in the back, and they do a little better just kind of hopping and crawling along the ground. But they do also swim. They are amphibians, so they spend part of their life cycle in the water. And then some frogs stay in the water. We would call them aquatic frogs. But then we also have frogs that are more terrestrial that live on the land. So like tree frogs where they don't swim as much and they tend to not have those webbed feet like we saw in the picture. Okay, so now we are going to create our own hopping frog now that you have some background. So you'll notice you got 2 identical cups. Yours are plastic and clear, but one cup, if you look really closely, you will notice that your cup already has 4 holes in it. So kind of evenly spaced throughout the cup, and one cup is totally normal. So you are going to put this normal cup aside and do nothing with it. We'll use it at the end to make our frog hop. The next thing I want you to do is to take your frog from your handout and cut it out and color it. So you may want to pause here so that you can decorate your frog, and then you are going to glue or tape it down to your cup that has the holes in it. So it's very important that the frog goes on the cup with holes. And you'll notice I'm holding the cup upside down, and that's the way the frog will go as well. So if we do it this way, it'll end up looking like your frog is hopping upside down. So you're putting your cup upside down and attaching your frog. So pause here and you can go ahead and color your frog and then attach it to the cup. Okay, if you're coming back, hopefully you now have your frog decorated and attached to your cup with the holes on it. The next thing you are going to do is take both of your rubber bands and cut them once. So you're going to cut just one part of the loop. So now that you have two stretchy strings made out of rubber band. So what we're going to do here, and depending on your age, you may need help from an adult, is we are going to string these rubber bands through the holes and tie a knot to secure them to the cup. So I'm going to string this through. So you can see the edge of my rubber band is poking through, and I'm going to tie a knot to secure it around the cup. So you'll notice when I did my, let me see where we don't get a glare. I actually tied the rubber band around the edge here. So I actually tied it to the edge of the cup. And then I'm going to string it across to the hole that's directly opposite of the first hole. Same thing. I'm going to pull it through till it's taut or kind of tight and tie another knot. So this is the part where you may need a little bit of help because tying knots that are tight enough can be a little bit tricky. And if you want, for your own purposes, you could trim the extra or you can just leave it. So far I have a cup with one rubber band string going across. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you don't want it too loose. And here we go. I need to retie mine. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take the other rubber band and you are going to do the same thing with the other two holes so that now you will have like a cross or an X of rubber bands in your cup like so. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's okay if your rubber bands aren't exactly the same. I gave you a variety in your kit. One of mine is thicker and one is thinner, but it's not going to make any difference to my final product. Good, so bring that across and through. So this is the trickiest part of this activity. Just tying these knots. It's sort of like tying a balloon. Some people are really good and can tie a balloon easily. Other people have a little trouble. So it's same difference here. All right. So now you can see I have one rubber band this way, one rubber band that way. The cross is kind of towards the middle here, cross or an X right there. All right. So now this is our hopping frog. So these rubber bands are representing like the tension that gets all coiled up in the muscles of that long frog leg. You are going to take your other cup and you're going to put it down on your table. Let's see. No, it's easier if I hold it up. You're going to hold it down on your table, upside down. You are going to take your frog and you are going to press it down. So you'll feel that like tension from the rubber band. You push down and release. You have a nice hopping frog now. Push lightly on the top and then push a little harder to get it close to the bottom. And then boop, your frog will hop. So this is your hopping frog. So push and release. Very good. So what you can do if you're working with anyone else, you can always do a contest. You can see how far and how high you can get your frog to jump. You could even set marks on a wall and see if you can like measure how high it goes and then do an experiment. See if you could get it to go even higher. You could also try aiming it across the room and go for distance instead of height. So there's a lot of variations you can use when you are playing with this to turn it into more of an experiment instead of just a build. You could even try adjusting your rubber bands, making them tighter, making them looser. You could even, what I suggest, I'm just thinking of this now, is you can make a mark on your cup and see if you can push it down to different levels on your cup. So let's say I'm going to make one level here with a line and then another line a little lower down. And I can see the difference that it makes when I push the frog down to that level. So let's see, I'm going to push it to get to the first line. Release. And then I'm going to try, so I'm going to take the lip of this cup and try to push it down to that lower orange mark. It's a little hard and it went a little higher. So that's another experiment you could do with this. So feel free to also check the printed directions. I'm going to give a few variations of experiments you could do with your frog hopper. Okay, great job. And thank you so much for joining me. And if you haven't already, check out the other frog activity, the fly catcher game. Okay, have a great day. Bye.